Hey, lovely to see you. Get ready for a fascinating story, and let's get started. Caught my fiancée cheating the night before the wedding. Now, she's in trouble begging for forgiveness. Hello, I'm Rick, 27. Male, my ex-girlfriend Maya, 25, female. And I were so much in love. Or should I say I was so much in love with her? And I never believed she would break my trust and cheat on me, like she did. When Maya and I first met, she was freshly out of college and I was already working with a fast-growing tech company for me. It was love at first sight, and there was something about her that I could not place my fingers on. I met her at my friend's sister's birthday party. Maya and my friend's sister were college friends. She must have noticed. I was checking her out at the party because she kept looking in my direction. After a lot of internal struggle, I approached her. I wasn't as chubby now. I just had a noticeable weight, which runs in my family. And I had been that way since childhood in the past. Many girls had turned me down, laughed in my face because I tried hitting on them. And I wasn't expecting anything different with Maya. She was gorgeous and I expected her to either snub me or pretend like I didn't exist. But she was different. She spoke to me politely and we talked for the rest of the night and had such a great time. It was my first time feeling that good and confident in a long time. And because we clicked so well, we exchanged contacts. And I gave her a call. As soon as I got home from there, we started seeing each other often, one on lunch dates, and our friendship grew. As time passed, I found Maya to be different from other girls of her age. She was witty and intelligent. I figured from the first night we talked, I wasn't just attracted to Maya because of her beauty. What attracted me most to Maya was her intelligence and sense of humor. Not so many girls had given me the opportunity to go on multiple dates with them, but Maya was generous to give me a shot. I was always attracted to intelligent people. I didn't like being around people with no life goals, vision, or future plans, and Maya was all of it. She was just out of college actively, scavenging the job openings, rushing for the marathon of interviews and whatnot. I loved to see how serious she was about her career. I never had a real relationship apart from one in high school. Not because I couldn't keep one, but because the girls wanted something more than a nerdy boy's love, which I didn't have, so meeting and dating. A girl like Maya felt like a win for me. It was months since she had graduated, and she had no luck in the job hunting game. She had left the college dorm and shifted with her friend, but it was becoming difficult for her to survive. Her parents were not well off to support her post-graduation. They had made it clear to her that she needed to care for herself after graduation. The friend which Maya whom lived was very clumsy, and would often have a boyfriend at the house. Since it was a one-bedroom flat, it became difficult for Maya to live in that house. Maya said living at a friend's place was taking its toll on her mental health. So I asked her to take a break for a while and move in with me, although I was just starting my career in tech. The pay was good. I earned enough to care for both of us. Without her contribution, we lived in a spacious one-bedroom apartment, and I single-handedly took care of rent, paid the bills, and took care of groceries. I never complained, because I loved her and didn't see a big deal in spending some extra bucks on her blind love. Yeah, throughout our relationship, everything went on smoothly, and we barely had any major fights. Maya managed the house, did the dishes and laundry, went grocery shopping, and took care of my bed needs. She wasn't so great in bed, and I enjoyed every bit of the moment with her. Before Maya and I started dating, she told me about her ex-boyfriend in college and how he maltreated her. I assured her I was a gentleman and I kept my promise in the past. I had never had issues controlling my anger, and a neighbor laid my hands on anybody or a woman, so she was safe with me. Believe it or not, I had never cheated in the past, and I didn't plan on cheating on her. Also, my work was 60 remote and 40 on site, so I shoveled our house in the office, and this allowed us to spend enough time together to show how transparent I was with her. I even came up with the rules of telling each other wherever we went, who we were with, and what we were doing whenever we were out. I did this to show her I meant serious business with her and that I had nothing to hide. As our relationship progressed, we introduced each other to our parents, and in no time we knew all of each other's friends, mainly those close to us. I didn't have a best friend, but Maya had. Her name was Andrea, and she used to hang out with Maya all the time. She also visited the house regularly, and we were almost like family. Andrea and Maya were roommates back at college. Unlike Maya, Andrea worked as a retail store manager at a popular store in our city and lived with her two sisters, who were also working women. As for Andrea, Maya was able to crack the job for the same supermarket. But Maya declined the offer because she wanted a corporate job. I guess she became very comfortable with me providing for her. Although I didn't say this to her, Andrea would often tease her and call her spoiled. Maya claimed she had worked hard juggling many part-time jobs as a teenager, and while in college, so she deserved to be relaxed and cared for. On my end, I was happy to give her that break. I didn't have any issues with taking care of Maya. In fact, I was glad I could provide and take care of my woman one evening while we were at a fancy restaurant to celebrate my promotion. Maya suddenly asked, "What do you say if we get married?" I stuttered. I was taken aback for a moment, but it didn't totally come as a surprise. I had been thinking of settling down with her, but I still had a lot of things under consideration. So I told her we would be married when the time was right, and she smiled. To be honest, I wanted Maya to start her career before we took our relationship to the next level. I always wanted to get married and have a family. After Maya came into my life, I've always imagined my life with her. I had even bought the ring to propose to her, but was waiting for her to get her career straight. But somehow she found the ring in my closet, and before she could make any assumptions, I had to make an early proposal. The first time Maya broke the news to her best friend Andrea, she looked more shocked than happy, another kind of shock that her best friend was getting married. But the shock that her best friend was getting married to me, I expected more excitement from her, especially since she would be Maya's maid of honor. But the excitement did not come. Her response was, "Are you being serious?" Andrea then tossed her purse on the floor and held Maya's ring. Then she looked up at me and forced a smile. Trust me, I had been around them for a very long time, and I could tell when her smile was forced and when it was genuine. Although I didn't mention it to Maya, I thought Andrea was not happy for her friend. In the past, I noticed Andrea was always awfully nice to me once we three were hanging out in our apartment, while Maya went inside the kitchen to prepare some quick snacks. Andrea hinted to me that Maya was not who I thought she was. I understood what she meant, but I played dumb. I asked her what did she mean. Andrea said that I would figure it out. Eventually she was drunk. Besides, she did not pass a direct message, and I could not conclude. Based on that, in no time we started planning our wedding. Maya wanted a big fat wedding, the kind she could invite all her friends, family, and frenemies. But that was not what I wanted first. It was significantly about my budget, since she would not be contributing a penny to it. Secondly, I believed there was life after the wedding. I loved kids, and I wanted us to have a child almost immediately. And that meant we'd need to rent a bigger apartment and take care of other things. Although Maya had all the reasons to own a big wedding, I still kicked against it. She mentioned something about having the perfect expensive wedding, but we both knew it was impossible. Surprisingly, Maya got a job a couple of months before our wedding. I told her I could not afford to buy the brand of wedding gowns she needed and pay for her bridesmaid dresses, so she figured it was better to get a job and handle most of her bills. Instead of bugging me, her wise decision impressed me, and I hoped she would keep up with her career after we married. Also, I expected she would contribute to our wedding plans with her new job in the picture, but she didn't. Everything she earned was channeled to her gown shoes, accessories, and everything her bridesmaids needed. So I ended up paying for the wedding venue, pole cakes, and almost everything on my own. 2 weeks before our wedding, I noticed that Andrea began to text me more and more. She texted me in the morning to ask if I slept well, and she texted me if she went shopping with Andrea. In fact, it was a long list of reasons to text me, but whenever we met or she came to our house to help mine with something, she would remain calm so Maya would not suspect anything was off between us. At one point, I had to tell Andrea to stop calling and texting me because it was getting out of hand. I was afraid that I might jeopardize my relationship with Maya. I was too afraid to mention it to Maya because I didn't want it to ruin her friendship or wedding preparation. I knew how much she loved and trusted Andrea, and deep down, I believed Andrea was trying to seduce me or get me to change my mind about marrying her best friend. On the night of Maya's bachelorette party, I understood why I was in the club section of the hotel, where we were all lodging at a day before a wedding. I was drinking with some of my friends when Andrea called me and said there was something she wanted to show me. At first, I didn't want to go, because I believe she wanted to seduce me one last time. But when she mentioned Maya in a familiar name, I took one of my friends and went upstairs. I got to the hotel room they were using for the small party. I saw Andrea outside the door waiting for me. She told me something I could not believe, and when I opened the door, my heart nearly fell into my stomach. Before I opened the door, I heard soft moans from their room, and my chest constricted as I touched the door's handle, to my greatest shock. I saw Maya on top of another man, which I suspected was the male stripper they hired to entertain them. The moment she saw me, she jumped off him and struggled to cover herself with the sheets. Almost instantly, I recognized him as Andrea had told me he was her college ex-boyfriend, and I didn't even know when I started crying. It was too much to handle, and I walked out on them without saying a word. My friend who had escorted me upstairs was also mortified. He tried to talk to me or maybe calm me down, but I shrugged him off and walked out as I walked down the corridor. I heard Maya yelling at Andrea, "Why would you do this to me? My life was going perfectly, but you ruined it." Andrea yelled back, "I told you he deserved better. Rick has been nothing but good to you. I told you to break up with that loser boyfriend of yours and be with Rick, but you wanted to eat your cake and have it." I didn't bother to look back. I could not believe Maya had been playing me the whole time. It was too painful to accept, and I wished I could handle the hurt I felt, but I couldn't. Andrea even tried to follow me. I slammed the door in her face. I drank until I could not differentiate between a shadow and an actual person. The following morning, I woke up to a ton of missed calls from Maya and some other people. When I left the room, Maya was already wearing her wedding gown. She looked so miserable the moment she saw me. She ran to me and asked why I wasn't dressed for our wedding, and hearing that made me so furious out of anger. I pushed her away and announced I was calling off our wedding. Everyone was shocked, and they kept asking why I changed my mind. Even my parents were shocked to see me in that state, because no one expected this to come after all the money I had spent on the preparations, but I was too heartbroken to speak. I stared at Maya with blood boiling down my spine. I went back into my room and locked myself from inside the room. I could hear my parents and some of our friends asking Maya about the reason behind my decision, but she didn't respond. She just pretended to faint, and a couple of people caught her before her body touched the floor after cleaning up from the previous night. I left the hotel room with a few belongings I had taken there. I switched off my phone after I dropped an apology message on my friend's WhatsApp group chat and switched off my phone. Please don't blame me. I don't know how else to react. It's been a week since then, and I still don't know how to come to a term that I was being played on. Wow, literally the day before the wedding. I'm sorry. What an absolute blow to your ego in your bank account. It's weird how Andrea knew and didn't want to say anything before all this even happened. Why wouldn't she tell you? Maybe she wanted you to come to your own conclusions because she secretly wanted you for herself. Maybe had she told you, you wouldn't have believed her. And maybe that would have tainted how you looked and felt about Andrea.